aura into a thread-like form. Otto opened his mouth, inhaling the entire aura like swallowing clouds and mist. Such a massive amount of evil chi entering his body made Otto feel a heavy pressure in his mind, causing him to faint instantly. Chapter 34. The Clarence family's gratitude. Yanasi. As Otto collapsed, Alithia immediately shouted and rushed over to him. Beside her, Elroy's face was grim. He said in a solemn tone, "Quickly, help Barker to the living room. No, take him to the best guest room for rest." As the members of the Clarence family hastily helped Otto into the room and laid him down, Alithia turned around and said, "Grandpa, give the order. No one must disclose Yanasi's condition. I'll stay here and watch over him." Subconsciously, Otto could clearly sense what was happening around him. He had underestimated the situation. He hadn't expected this Sa Chi to be so strong. Now it seemed he had been too negligent. This was the old residence of the Clarence family, where centuries of Sa Chi had accumulated. Perhaps the terrain changes had begun to accumulate Sa Chi even before this. He thought there wouldn't be any problem but ended up harming himself. Fortunately, though unconscious, his consciousness was clear. This state was different from being unconscious. In fact, the Sa Chi had sealed off his 5 senses and perception. He circulated the mysterious heaven scroll, forming a complete cycle of true chi within his body. He could feel that Alithia outside was very worried. Soon, a sweet fragrance came, and Alithia's tender hands placed a hot towel on his forehead. This single gesture instantly stirred Otto's emotions. In an instant, he lost control over the Sa Chi inside his body, letting some of it escape. Suddenly, Otto felt his mind filled with desires. The turtle snake formation. Snakes were never good creatures. At this moment, Otto suddenly opened his eyes and saw Alithia before him. Before she could react, Otto pounced and pinned her down. In an instant, the room was filled with the sound of fabric tearing. After an hour, the Sa Chi inside his body was finally controlled, mainly thanks to Alithia's essence. Otherwise, Otto would need at least 3 days to recover. Looking at Alithia beside him, who was crying like a pear blossom after rain, Otto felt somewhat embarrassed. No wonder the old man said he was fated for endless calamities due to his entanglements. Wasn't this exactly it? He had just been with Vicky, and now another relationship emerged. Just as he was about to speak, Alithia said, "Yanasi, Elroy laughed heartily and said, "Good, very good. Xiaolong, this is a token of appreciation from our Clarence family." On the table lay a check for 10 million yuan and the deed to a detached villa in Jiangzhou Huafu. Although Huafu might not compare to Bun, it was located in the city center, which was far better for young people than Bun. Otto smiled and said, "Grandpa, this isn't necessary." Before he finished, Alithia picked up the items and said with a smile, "Thank you, Grandpa." Then, turning to Otto, she said, "Yanasi, you're being silly. You have nowhere to go. Take these. Otherwise, how will you support me in the future?" After staying at the Clarence family for 2 days, all the procedures for transferring ownership of the villa were completed. Only then did Otto move in. The French-style detached villa had a built-up area of 800 square meters with a layout of 6 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. The garden was large, spanning an area of 800 square meters. There was even a swimming pool, and Otto instantly took a liking to the place. Thus, he settled down there. Just as he lay back on an outdoor lounge chair, his phone rang. Recognizing the number, Otto smiled and answered, "Yuching wife, what's up? Missing me already?" "Alexis, I do miss you. Want to see you. How about playing some golf?" Otto immediately perked up. "Now you've got my interest. Is it the type Amaya plays? Can you handle it?" Vicky paused, taken aback. "What are you talking about? What Amaya golf?" Otto chuckled. "All right, as a doctor myself, if anything goes wrong, I can take care of it." This remark made Vicky think of a news item she had seen before, and she instantly became angry. "Otto, you bastard, you scoundrel." Otto laughed. "Seems like you know a thing or two too." In the end, they didn't get to play golf, but in the evening, the two of them did meet up for dinner. Vicky chose a rather famous Western restaurant in Jiangzhou City. The Red House restaurant, rumored to be comparable to the famous Red House in Shanghai, was merely boasting. It was actually a knockoff restaurant, but its ambience was well executed, giving a genuine Western dining experience. Not very tasty, such small portions. "I prefer hot pot. Grilling would be good too," Otto joked. Vicky shot him a flirtatious glare and said seriously, "Stop being sarcastic. Why do I feel like you've changed?" "Changed? Me?" Otto's heart raced. Could women's intuition really be this sharp? He then replied, "Maybe I just miss you. You're this career woman who doesn't take responsibility after a meal. I have to deal with it on my own." Tisk. Vicky spat, then said seriously, "I don't think you're up to much. Tomorrow, come with me to negotiate an acquisition." "Me?" Vicky explained, "This time, we want to buy a whitening and beauty formula from the Song family, also a traditional Chinese medicine family. They're tough to deal with. Kalins, you have medical knowledge. I thought you could help me evaluate. I'm worried they might pull something shady." Seeing Otto's surprise, Vicky added, "They wouldn't sell before, but now they're suddenly open to it. I fear there's a catch." Otto pondered for a moment, then nodded. "All right, but since I'm making such sacrifices, shouldn't you reward me? For instance, tonight?" Chapter 35. A Priceless Formula. 3 days later, as the Song family's flight arrived at Jiangzhou Airport, Otto and Vicky were waiting at the airport. Soon after, 3 men dressed in tank suits, 1 elderly man and 2 middle-aged men, walked out of the airport together. Vicky immediately went forward to greet them with a smile. "Welcome to Jiangzhou, Elder Song, Mr. Song and Mr. Song." Despite Vicky's obviously ingratiating demeanor, the 3 men remained arrogantly aloof, carrying an air of supreme confidence. One of them said bluntly, "Let's go to the hotel." Otto instantly frowned. These 3 didn't seem like they were here to negotiate business, but rather to cause trouble. When did people from traditional Chinese medicine families become so arrogant? Even Daeon wasn't this overbearing. Arriving at the conference room in the hotel, the spacious meeting hall was already set up. The 3 members of the Song family sat on one side, with nameplates before them labeled Barton, Wiley, and Tomas. Vicky sat opposite them with the UNG technology staff. After everyone settled down, Vicky paused for a moment before addressing Barton, who was seated at the head. "Elder Song, on behalf of UNG Technology, I welcome all 3 of you to Jiangzhou. We are very sincere about our intentions. We hope to purchase the exclusive whitening and beauty secret formula from the Song family." As Vicky finished speaking, Barton remained impassive, while Tomas beside him chuckled lightly. "President Jaren, we didn't come to Jiangzhou to sell any formula. We were invited here to treat someone. But considering your sincerity, we agreed to meet you. However, I'm afraid you might not be able to afford the price of this formula. Whether we can afford it or not, there must be a price, right?" How would you know if we can't afford it without naming a price? Vicky responded with a smile, yet her tone was resolute. Otto approved of her response. Indeed, these old fellows, acting as if they ruled the world, weren't worth much. At this point, Tomas looked at Barton and then laughed. Haha, truly, heroes emerge young. President Jaren, a woman, has such courage. Calence, you asked, let me tell you, the Song family's price for this formula is 30 billion yuan, cash payment only. And once the product hits the market, we want 10% of the annual profits. Otto couldn't hold back any longer. Slamming his hand on the table, he stood up. 30 billion? Are you crazy? Or just plain broke? What kind of rotten formula could be worth 30 billion? Barton frowned and turned to Vicky. President Jaren, who is this? Is this how you treat guests? Vicky immediately replied, Otto. Otto shot back at Vicky. Yuching, don't fall for these old fools' tricks. You want formulas? I'll give you several that are better than theirs. Haha. Ha ha ha. The three Song family members burst into laughter immediately. Wiley said to Barton, Damien, since things are like this, we shouldn't waste more time. Let's leave now. Standing up, Vicky said, Mr. Song, please calm down. Calence, you're here. Why don't we talk first? 30 billion for a cosmetic formula? I've never heard of it. I'm willing to pay up to 5 billion. If you're willing, let's have an open discussion. Otherwise, consider what I said null. 5 billion isn't a small amount. While the cosmetics industry is profitable, competition is fierce, with most of the market dominated by international brands. Advanced technology and refinement far surpass what a small company like UNG Technology can offer. Offering 5 billion demonstrated Vicky's determination. The three exchanged glances. Then Tomas continued, at least 8 billion. Our formula is expensive for a reason, accumulated over thousands of years within the Song family. He opened an elegant briefcase, took out a formula sheet, and placed it on the table, saying proudly, this is our formula. Of course, specific dosages and ingredients aren't listed, but you can get a general sense of its value. Show it to that young man who claims to have multiple formulas as well. Barton then pulled out a palm-sized bottle from his pocket and opened it, releasing a rich medicinal aroma throughout the room. He approached a sickly-looking plant, dripping some of the liquid onto its roots. The plant quickly revived, radiating vibrant green. As the saying goes, seeing is believing. Although Vicky had learned about the wonders of the Song family's beauty formula through documents, witnessing its effects firsthand still left her stunned. Seeing the atmosphere had reached its peak, Barton finally got to the point, smiling lightly and saying, everyone, this is the derivative product of our formula. I believe this capability can be called magical. President Jaren, do you still think 8 billion is too expensive? These three old fellows are really asking for an exorbitant price. Mr. Song, 8 billion is still too high a price. Too high. Upon hearing this, Tomas's tone rose a few notes. With disdain and mockery on his face, he chuckled and said, President Jaren, you have seen the effectiveness of our family's formula with your own eyes. The price remains the same. Calence, you've said that, then let's forget it. I won't say anything more. It seems there will be no chance for cooperation between us. Wiley also sneered, I thought with the financial strength of UNG Technology, this small amount would be nothing. From the looks of it, you can't even afford such a price. Your so-called sincerity is just superficial, and what you call a big name is just empty fame. The two brothers continued to belittle UNG Technology, not giving Vicky any chance to speak. After they finished, Vicky smiled and said, Gentlemen, a good formula is one thing, but mass production is another. This is no small matter. The investment cost is enormous. Frankly speaking, at 8 billion yuan and 10% profit, I don't see any prospects. If the three of you insist, I'm afraid this matter will have to be dropped. A price could be negotiated, but Vicky wasn't foolish. A formula didn't equate to a product. She needed to mass produce it after acquiring it. No matter how impressive the Song family's demonstration was, it was all individual crafting. Making 1 or 2 bottles was easy, but mass production was a different story. There were significant risks involved. Beside her, Otto couldn't stand it any longer. Standing up, he looked at the three men from the Song family and said in a deep voice, what you showed just now, this should be the Hui Abdul Ibrahim Dan, elixir of eternal youth, right? I wondered why it seemed different from the so-called formula. Indeed, the Hui Abdul Ibrahim Dan can be used externally as a skin whitening and beauty product. But you old fellows, presenting a defective product to my wife is quite excessive, isn't it? Defective product? Vicky was instantly alarmed and looked at Otto. Honey, how do you know it's a defective product? The three Song family members' expressions changed immediately. Among them, Tomas was enraged and yelled, what do you mean? When has the product of the Song family ever been a defective product? If you don't explain clearly, the Song family will make you pay the price. Chapter 36. The Determination of Appearance in the Dog Palace. Otto sneered. He had been annoyed with these old men for a long time. They were using a broken version of the youth-preserving pill, and only its external application part to make money. Were they taking everyone as fools? I have my reasons. With the youth-preserving pill, isn't a sovereign drug missing along with an adjuvant? In traditional Chinese medicine, the drugs are divided into sovereign, minister, assistant, and adjuvant, none of which can be absent. A sovereign drug plays a key role like a stabilizing force. For instance, this youth-preserving pill uses Polygonum multiflorum over a century old as the sovereign. To be honest, Polygonum multiflorum is originally anti-aging. Centennial Polygonum multiflorum doesn't even need special prescription. Eating it raw can turn gray hair black and keep one youthful. These words immediately changed Barton and his companions' expressions as they all stood up. Barton was shocked. How did he know that? The formula of Song family's youth-preserving pill was the best-kept secret. However, nobody outside knew it was actually defective. Just as Otto pointed out, a sovereign drug and a drug guide were indeed missing. The youth-preserving pill has 2 sovereign drugs. Kaler, could you please explain what's missing in the pill? If you can tell me, I can give the whitening and beauty-nourishing formula to CEO Jaren free of charge and ask for no commission, Barton proposed. Vicky was stunned. Is this really happening? Who is this husband and his nephew-in-law of my BFF? Wasn't he an orphan? How did he learn all these skills? Most importantly, not only did his words not anger the other party, but also got rid of 800 million debts for her. Otto smiled gently. I naturally know, but why should I tell you? You treat such a poor formula as treasure. Not bragging if I want to. I can write 10 more within minutes. Haha, who cannot brag, Kaler? As he spoke, Otto's phone rang. Who gazes at the moon? How many dreams fly freely? Seeing the number, it turned out to be Dayon calling. He gestured to Vicky before answering and stepping out. Hello, old Clarence. What's the matter? Then, Otto took a piece of paper from the table, wrote a formula on it, and said to Vicky, I'll take the call outside.